Hi, I'm Kristal Hart. Welcome to the show. We are at Madison Square Garden for the big event, Miguel Cotto going up against Antonio Margarito. But before we take you to post, we have a treat for all of you boxing fans.
Those are my memories, and those are good memories for me because, I learned a lot from fighting hard fights. And if you never had a hard fight, you're never going to really learn how to fight because once you get out into deep water, you better know how to swim. If you don't, you're going to drown out there. That's my story.
Sticking to it. Evander, how do you stay in shape? Let me ask this question.
It's easy to maintain and rebuild.
I fought until I was 52. Evander still got time. Yeah, he still can keep going.
What's the fight of your fights would you like to see again or relive?
Well, if I had to relive one, I would, the one with Lennox Lewis, the first fight, I think about, pretty much he's the only person I ever let get to me. And, and it was just sad for me just to think that I was going to knock him out in the third round if I told him. And I told him, I'm going to knock you out in the third round. So on the round that he was going to make sure he wasn't going to get knocked out in the third round. So he made sure I didn't knock him out in the third round. And, when I went back to the corner when that round was over. I started to get out the ring and walk out. If it wasn't my son being in the corner standing right there, I would have walked out. I just didn't want nobody to tell my son, you're going to be just like your dad. When he had pressure, he walked out. So that's the only thing that kept me in that ring. I would have just walked out the ring because I was so embarrassed by opening my mouth big and telling somebody that I was going to knock them out in the 3 rounds. So if I had to do that over, I would do that one over.
You never made a prediction after that, did you?
I know.
You want to take a few questions before we wrap this up?
Lem Satterfield, The Ring. My dad's 92 years old, and I was just telling Tim Smith that if he was in this room, he would go across from Marvis to Evander and say that in their prime, every one of them would beat all the heavyweights today, and that's just how he is. And I can't disagree with him when you hear his argument, which is if you define all of them by the best fighters they fought in their prime and lost to, it's going to be hard to make an argument that anybody today is better. So to that, if you could, each of you, starting with Marvis, Gerry, Larry, and Evander, address what you think about that statement and what you think is the problem with the American heavyweight today.
Well, I would say the discipline. There's a lot of guys out here who want the fast money, and they don't want to sacrifice what it takes to be a champion. Everybody can't be a champion, but when you take the time and do the regiment that you're supposed to do, then you'll be a champion.
What was the question, actually? Listen, you see the Klitschko boys, right? Listen, they're good fighters. But you got everybody and their sister trying to fight them, box them. You got to get inside the jab and bang the body for a while. It's a lost art. I mean, everyone wants to box them. They're little cruiserweight guys, and they're trying to box those guys. Someone's got to fight them. That's the game. And, it's very weak. The heavyweight division was raped and robbed all these years from certain promoters I won't mention.
Come on.
and most of those guys that would have been fighters here in America went to football, basketball, baseball, and it's starting to come back now because it's changing again. And, it's on its way. We're going to see some good guys coming along.
Today's fighters, I guess it's today's fighters. They don't have the dedication, the discipline, to come out and really to be the champion. And this is why Evander is still fighting. That's why I fought until I was 52, because there's nobody out there. And you can't blame this man for fighting because there's nothing out there. And as long as they pay him and to keep giving them opponents, he's going to keep fighting and keep winning because these guys still have to learn how to fight. Because most of the guys, he's the only one that I see that dedicates himself, still weighs the same thing he weighed 10 years ago, which I think he should gain a little bit more weight than that. But these young guys out here, they don't do it. And it's so wide open to be for anybody to become champion. One of the things Gerry told me on my show the other day, that the network going to start getting back involved in boxing. The NBCs, the CBS, and everything else start to going to get back involved in boxing. And that's one of the things that will motivate our fighters, because it ain't nobody don't want to be on TV. Even though they ain't gonna get paid a lot of money or don't get paid a lot of money, they want to be on TV so they can be, so they can brag. So that bragging is gonna make these guys get in shape, and they'll be able to, then we'll have our fighters back. But meanwhile, these fighters today, I respect them all, the Kristal brothers, but I'm like everybody else, I'm watching the lower weight classes.
Well, I truly believe that the problem that we have today is the fact is that I think when the television started putting everything on paid television, and that lost the amateur program. So when you lose the amateur program, I wanted to make the Olympic team because I saw Leon Spinks and Micah Spinks. Now, because, everybody that fight on the TV represents somebody. And so, I came from a family that, my mother didn't read, my daddy didn't read. And so, when a guy like Sugar Ray on, he's articulate and all that. So that didn't inspire me. But once I seen the Spinks brother, and when they interviewed them, and they were just waving and all on TV and stuff like this, because I was the person that, I came from a structured family. We listened, but everybody would tell me I wasn't going to be that because you weren't smart enough. So I could fight. And so I was even inspired by, the Rocky movie. Because Rocky one of them guys that he wasn't very smart, but he could fight. And so when the Spinks brothers made the Olympic team and did well and 2 gold medals, it gave me an opportunity. And I truly feel because when the kids fight, when the kids from the ghetto get on TV, like when my friends saw me on TV, now my friend didn't even know my name was Holyfield. They thought my name was Chubby. They said, hey, that Holyfield guy look like Chubby. So they went to the house and asked my mama. My mama said, yeah, that's him. Like this. And when the Olympic was over, we had everybody in our boxing gym went to the gym. They trained for 1 week. And because they couldn't make the Olympic in 1 week, they quit. But the art of the game is that, our program is going bad because it's not on free television. You don't have nobody. You don't have nothing to look up to. And I think that I became as popular who I am because everybody got a chance to see me come through the amateur program. They got a chance to see me to learn how to box. I boxed for 13 years for free to become the person that I am. It's just like life. You don't get paid before you work. You work before you get paid. And this is what pretty much got to be taught to these kids right now. They want to get paid before they work.
Another question? We can do a couple more.
These senior laws, Black Star News. Evander, in your lifetime, do you remember or going back to the Olympics when you couldn't stop that left hook and you hit that opponent? And I felt you were cheated because you don't stop a trajectory just as the bell and the referee says stop. I mean, do you feel like you were cheated out of your gold medal?
Well, there's no doubt I was cheated, but if you look at it, if I wouldn't have been cheated, I wouldn't have been as popular as I am coming into the Olympics. I'm like, you talking about a guy that worked 8 hours, used to make $8,000 a year. Then all of a sudden, because I got cheated, and Howard Cosell would tell him about how I cheated, but how good my attitude was, sure. I'm the one that got the big $1 million contract. So, I'm something, wow, but as a kid, I was still mad. But when I look at it now as an adult, now, who would I be if I would just been one of the gold medal winners? And so, things work out. It's just good attitude. My mother always told me that, it's your attitude let you know how you can stay. My mama said, it's a lot of talented people. She said, but everybody mess up, but a good attitude gets you more chances. So, me being the heavyweight heavyweight champion of the world as many times because I got another opportunity. As long as there's an opportunity, it's hard to stop me. So as long as the opportunity keep going, because you have to have a good attitude, and that's pretty much what, that getting disqualified kind of displayed that. If I never got disqualified, nobody would ever say anything about it.
Hi, guys. Tim Smith, New York Daily News. We just lost Joe Frazier, and Ali is very, very ill now. And I'm wondering, as you see these great legends, sort of pass away or pass on, whether you get a sense that, that the sport of boxing is losing something that may never be regained, and just what do you guys think of when you think of Joe and you think of Ali?
Well, okay. Well, that's the son over there, Marvis, and he can tell you that I met him when he was a little bitty kid. I was working with Joe as a sparring partner, and that's one of the most happiest moments of my life, even though that I started working with Muhammad Ali in 1970, and in 1973 I got the chance to work with Joe Frazier. I was like a kid in a candy store, getting things that I wanted, learning how to fight with a guy that's going to put a lot of pressure on you, a guy that's the heavyweight champion of the world, a guy who beat the guy that I just was working with, Muhammad Ali. And it gave me a great thrill, even when he broke my ribs. I never told him that, but I never took off. I told him later on that he broke my ribs, but he knew I was running out because I boxed similar to Muhammad around the ring circle, but I was running much faster when Joe was on me, and I can show you the film because we have it on tape, and I was like this, man. He could never catch me anymore, and when he did catch me, I held on forever, I held on. They'd have to break, Larry, break. I look at him and I said, well, are y'all crazy? But those were the moments that I had that I will always cherish. Joe gave me a lot of thrills, and we remained friends up to the day they put him in the ground. And so it's a family. And I'd like to say we're pretty close as far as that goes. And he will always be missed in my house.
In my heart right now is a big hole that can't be filled right now. In regards to my father, he and I were like just glued together. Everything I know, everything I learned in boxing, my father taught me, along with a couple other good guys like Georgie Benton and Val Colbert. But the thing that I love the most about Joe Frazier, that he was just an average, ordinary guy that spoke to everybody, that loved everybody, that no matter who you were, he loved you, and he tried to show you the best and how to be the best and to do the best, and that's the way I live my life today.
Okay, did everyone answer that question? All right, we're going to have one more question, and then we're going to set up a nice photo, okay?
Ellie Sekback with ES News. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time. But the two best fighters right now are Pacquiao and Mayweather. Can I get each one of the panel, who do you think wins that fight, if it ever happens?
Well, I say the best man is going to win. They both happen to be great fighters. And, for me to pick any one, I'm just guessing. So I think the best man is going to win the fight.
We know that. Good answer. We know that. What's wrong with that, Gerry? We know that.
I'm sorry, but I don't know what we were talking about. I didn't hear the question.
Pacquiao and Mayweather, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, Pacquiao and Mayweather. That's a good fight. I would take Mayweather. He's got size, he's got ability. He knows what he's doing in there, and he's going to win.
I would say definitely win Mayweather. He's a guy that is skilled in the profession of pugilism. So I like him, and he's a great fighter.
You know, I watched Marquez fight Pacquiao, and I was kind of hoping that Pacquiao was going to do something up above that he's done in the first 2 fights, and unfortunately he didn't. I spoke to Freddie Roach's trainer, who said that he was stale that night. But, I mean, Mayweather is the guy. And I don't see how Pacquiao's going to be able to. I mean, let's hope he was stale. And we're going to get a great fight for the public to watch. But I got to go with Mayweather, too.
Well, I think Mayweather can take Larry Merchant any day. I really don't. I don't care what Larry says. Larry says he's going to kick Mayweather's ass. I like to see that. But I think it's going to be a great fight. My heart is for Pacquiao, but I got to go with the guy that had the ability, the lateral movement with the jabs, the right hand, the left hooks, can do it all, and Mayweather can do it all. But my heart ain't with him.
Well, actually, I'm pretty much like Vito, because, with me, boxing is, I chose boxing because regardless to what anybody say, that's not a person can fight to fight for you. And it's always something that you can find in yourself at any given time to win. And of course you got, and I think both of the individual, Pacquiao and Mayweather, have that ability to turn it on at any given time somebody make a mistake. So, that's the reason why I watch the fight, because if I know who's gonna win, I don't even watch the fight. I'm like that. I watch what I don't know. Because I want to see who really going to win. But I know both of them guys have the ability to win, because whoever make the least mistakes is the one that usually win. And so, because, Pacquiao have proven that he can make the adjustment, he can swing from awkward angles. And of course, Mayweather, it seems like he get better each and every time he fight. Every time you think he's slacking, he proves something that it is. So, I'm just like anybody else. That's the reason I'm going to pay for the fight. I'm going to watch it to see who's going to win.
There are 2 politicians here.
It's not so much politicians, it's the truth. That's the reason I got into boxing.
I get mine free because I work for the cable company.
Okay, well, good.
That makes it exciting. All right, well, guys, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for coming.